Okay, what I have here is an X32 that I bought off of Facebook Marketplace, and there was actually an adapter stuck in input 1, which I've since gotten out, but you can see that it's missing the ejector pin, so we need to replace that jack, and I actually need to test the rest of the jacks and make sure that nothing gets stuck anywhere else, make sure we don't need to replace anything else. So let's take it apart and get started. For this repair, you're gonna want a drill driver with a number 2 Phillips bit. You'll also want a smaller number 2 Phillips screwdriver for places where the drill won't fit. You'll need a soldering kit and then some way to remove solder, either a solder sucker or some copper wick. If you're gonna clean the inside of the console while you have it open, you'll wanna have a dry 2 to 4 inch paintbrush, some 91% or higher isopropyl alcohol, and then paper towels or Q-tips, whatever you got laying around. To start disassembly, we're gonna take the plastic shoulders off. There are 5 screws in each side. Once you get those out, you'll take the 5 screws out of the top of each side that are holding the lid down. You'll then take out your expansion card in the back because we're going to lean the console on its back while we're doing this repair and we don't want to damage the card. I'm taking the fader caps off here because I also needed to repair a dead fader. If you're only repairing the input jack, you don't have to take off the fader caps. You'll then take out the rubber foot from the center of the console as well as the second screw that's right beside the rubber foot. Then go ahead and take all the screws out of the top of the underside here, right under the front of the console. And last but not least, you're gonna turn it around and take all of the screws out of the top of the rear. And by the way, anytime you are doing something like this, I highly recommend keeping your screws organized in this sort of fashion, just so you know where everything goes, just in case you forget, or if this project goes for more than a day and you don't remember where each set of screws goes. Okay, now that all these screws are out along the sides and the back, and the 1 center screw out of the bottom, fader caps are off, we're gonna very gently open her up, see what's going on under the hood here. That input right there, so I'm gonna need to take that board off. And I bet that means I'm gonna have to take all the screws out of all those jacks. We're gonna unhook the ribbon cable here. There's little plastic tabs you pull up on each side and then just gently pull the ribbon cable out. I wonder if I can sit this thing up on its side. So I was able to get it on its side and the lid started to separate, and then I remembered a little trick I saw watching someone else repair one, which is you just thread a small zip tie through the holes where the screws are and then back through the grill on top of the lid. We're just going to cinch it, probably not as tight as we can get it, but tight enough that the lid's not gonna try to run away on us. So we've got our 4 zip ties, and now we can see, now I can work with it and I don't have to worry about the lid separating up here, because it's just got these little metal latches holding on. And you just have a few delicate ribbon cables going from the top to the bottom, and this I found I needed to loosen what looks like a grounding strap for this wire, which is going to the headphone jack on the left side. You are actually not supposed to disconnect this ribbon cable. At least, not from there. Let me show you. As it turns out, this ribbon cable is, in fact, soldered to the board. This is one piece. So we actually need to snip this zip tie here, this zip tie here, this zip tie here, all the way down, and we are going to unplug it from this board right here, because these can actually be unplugged. They are 2 pieces. So I'm gonna snip some zip ties, and then we're gonna get that board out. We're just gonna do this right here. There we go, relatively easy. Put that down. Yep, let's make sure to drop that. And there we have a very dusty PCB, but it is good to go. All right, we'll get this one on the bench and we'll see if we can replace that guy. So when I first ordered the replacement jack, it looked like this, where it's got these 3 pins right down here, these 3 gold pins, but then it actually has this extra silver pin that's another grounding pin, and it's grounded to the hole where the screw goes that connects this jack to the chassis, but there's not a hole in the PCB from what I can tell for this grounding pin. So I actually took it and just took some pliers and bent it until it was able to break off cleanly. And so that should be fine. It shouldn't affect anything because it's connected to the other grounding pin here. You can see where it's touching right there. So I'm gonna clean up this PCB first, get a lot of this dust and grime off of here. I'm gonna start by just brushing it off, and then we'll see if we can get this jack desoldered and replaced. Now, one thing I want to point out really quickly is that you don't want to be too aggressive. Don't be leaning into these caps because it's very easy, especially on some of these bigger ones. You can see they're not flush. Let me hold it up here. It's not flush against the board. There's a gap there. So if you're leaning into it, you can very easily bend this off and break it. And then that's just something else you're going to have to fix. So just use a dry 3-inch or 4-inch paintbrush. And you can just get the cheapest one at Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever, and you're able to brush cleanly through all these with nice soft bristles, but it's still enough to get all the dust out. You got to be careful when you're doing compressed air because you will have condensation in there that will spray out in the form of liquid. Just make sure to get any errant condensation or liquid off of this board before you start pumping electricity through it again. All right, now it's time to replace this jack here, and you can see there's just 3 solder points right here. We'll do this first, and then we'll clean up the bottom of this PCB with some isopropyl alcohol. It's just those 3. You don't need to do those 2. Those 2 are for the light that indicates phantom power, just for that little LED there, so you don't need to touch those. It's just these 3. We're just gonna heat this solder up and remove it, and then we should be able to pull this jack out pretty clean. Anytime you are soldering like this, please, 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 always make sure you use a fan. Okay. Again, you're just heating the solder up and sucking it out. The old solder sucker here. You can also use solder wick, which I'm gonna wind up using before I'm done, I suspect, but this is just an easy way to get large amounts of solder out of a joint. All right, here's the deal. I've been fighting with this for about 10 minutes, and these 2 joints are solder free. I have sucked all the solder out of there, but this one just will not let it go. And so a little trick I have learned is you can actually add a little bit of solder to a stubborn joint, and that will actually help to melt the existing solder and make it a little bit easier to suck out. So it's something. That looks pretty clean. Let's see if you'll let go now. Oh, it's so close. Come on, just let that last little bit go. Come on, little buddy. Almost there. That's 2. There's 3. Okay. Boy. Put up a fight, but we got it. Okay, be careful if you have to hold the soldering iron onto anything for that long, because this whole board is going to be pretty warm. So now we're going to make sure that our new one fits in place, and then we will solder it back. Just make sure that sits in there nice and smooth. Let's see if I can just bend those pins a little bit in. Just a bit, not much. Just enough. There we go. Okay. It's actually pretty snug in there already. We're gonna just solder that right back, and we will be in business. Want to get some flux here, and I'm going to just dab it on. I'll actually probably just dab it on with a toothpick. And if you have never used, where's the lid? Here we go. If you have never used paste flux for soldering, it will change your life. Just really helps the solder meld in there. So I'm just gonna paint a little bit on here. Right about like that-ish. So when the soldering iron heats that up, it's just gonna flow in there in the metal, and it's gonna help that new rosin core solder just stick a little better than it might otherwise want to. So let's get a nice clean. There we go. And let's turn our fan back on. Remember, you are not heating up the solder, you are just heating up the elements, and they will heat up the solder. We're just gonna get both those pieces nice and warm. We're just gonna let that solder kind of fill in there. Get a nice healthy amount all around. There we go, beautiful. There's one. Let's let it heat up here. This is the one that was stubborn before. Let's see if we can. There it goes. There's two. Let me just fill in this side just a bit. There we go. Beautiful. And here's number 3. Just gonna heat up that ring. Very nice. Let's get a little bit more. Don't burn your knuckles. There you go. Just like Coach drew it up in the locker room, huh? This is where I would actually rather use a Q-tip, just getting in around those joints, but there we go. This thing has had some time to dry, and I ran to Lowe's and just picked up some dry paint brushes, 1-inch, 2-inch, and 3-inch. So I'm going to use this to finish dusting here in between all these little caps. Let's see if we can't just clean it up a little bit better. You can just get whatever cheap brush Lowe's has, or Home Depot, or whatever the hardware store near you is. And this is a softer bristled brush. I also got this, was this a 2-inch chip brush as well? So the bristles are slightly more rigid. You know, the flip side is with these cheap brushes is that they will lose bristles as you're brushing. So you just want to make sure to not have any leftover brush hairs on your board before you put it back in the console. But these are great for just getting all in between all these little capacitors and resistors and every other part on this board here. So again, you can see there's just kind of a general layer of growdiness here. I'm gonna try just hitting it with isopropyl on the paintbrush. Actually, maybe I'll get the bigger brush for this. Maybe. I'll see if this will clean this off without getting too nasty here. Can I just do this? Again, it doesn't take a whole lot. You know, I may have already poured too much on just in that amount there. Make sure not to fling it in your eyes or anything. You know, don't need any of that going on. Let's just get a little bit more on this tail side. Yeah, I'd say we're in. That looks a lot better than it did. We'll just turn the fan on here and let it dry out for a few minutes, and then we'll put it back in the board. Okay, we have our board with our repaired input jack, so we're just going to put it back in place. You will want to slide these little pins under the holes and put it in that way, and then just get the 2 screws that go on these 2 little gold standoffs right here and right here, and then you can put all the screws in the front on the XLR jacks. And then before we go to the outside, we can just go ahead and take this ribbon cable from the board and plug it back in where it was, which is right in here. And you'll just want to hear a nice click so that you know it's seated properly. There we go. And then I'm going to come back in before I close up and I'll re-zip tie these so that we don't just have these ribbon cables just floating around. All right, last thing, make sure to plug this ribbon cable back in for the input jack we repaired. Just pull this brown tab out a little bit, and it's very delicate. Just slide it in there, and it should lock in whenever you press the 2 sides of this tab down, but you just want to make sure you got it nice and secure. A little tough, but there we go. And then I would advise you turn the board on and check that input really quick before you actually close everything up. So let's check it real quick. All right, I have the power plugged back in and turned on. So we're just gonna check this first bank of 8, make sure it's got everything. And an easy way to check it is just by turning phantom power on and off and looking and making sure that the phantom power lights on the back turn on, which in this case they are. And then we've just got a 57 here. Check. There we go, that's what we like to see. Signal lights, let's just go ahead and check a few more just to be sure. There's input 2. I don't know if you can see that super well. We've got a signal there. Back on input 1. Check, 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 check. There we go. Let's jump down to input 6. I'm not gonna check all of them. There we go. All right, so we're getting signal there. Now we can power it down, unplug it, and close the board up. All right, now that we know everything works, I've got all of my zip ties that I snipped back in place. So all I have to do is snip the zip ties that I had holding the back together, and we will get this board back together. Just keep an eye on everything when you close it. Make sure you're not gonna pinch anything in the hinges or anything like that, especially these ones on the edge here. Always make sure to leave one out that you're not sure where it was supposed to go. Funny enough, I am actually missing one screw, but it's not this screw, so. Does it fit there even? All right, well, it's not supposed to go there, but we're gonna put it there. Last step is to put the 2 plastic shoulders back on, and then you're good to go. If you'd like a free X32 show file designed specifically for churches, make sure to check the link in the description below. If this video was helpful for you, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you want more X32 repair videos. My next few videos are gonna show how to replace a dead fader, how to replace the scribble strip LCD screen, and how to clean the rotary knobs under the LCD screen so they work good as new. Make sure to subscribe if you don't wanna miss those.